So 7:32. So we'll start. Um, I think the trick to keeping the questions down on the AMA is to not send out a blog reminding people we have an AMA. That's the that's the first rule. No, we'll get better at that. We have actually our blog and everything is changing because the new site and everything has a different function and so forth. So I think that the methods for all that are changing, and then we've got a new email system and so forth that we're going to be testing out here starting tonight from our own servers or mail servers and so forth. So I think starting around midnight we're doing we have a pretty extensive database, and some of those people are alternative investors like crypto and so forth. So somewhere throughout the day tomorrow, there'll be about 2 million emails that go out, talking about the Miami giveaway for the crypto conference. And I think that that'll be pretty well received. So we're opening up the NFT members only opportunities for new members here. So we're going to reach out there and see, what the receptivity is. So anyway, so we'll see. I'll let you guys know on Friday, how that email campaign goes. But of course, the links for the site are on there as well for the club and so forth to drive people back. This is kind of the beginning of us getting more promotional. So between now and by the time we have the AMA on Friday night, probably 12 o'clock tonight, I would say 2, 4 would probably be probably about 5 million emails that have gone out. So we'll see how that list goes, but that's something that's culled from the public markets and the a lot of different databases that we've had from different businesses and so forth. So so it should be good, pretty active, I think. So that's the first thing. I think, Bo, did you have a list of stuff you wanted to go over here tonight? We'll try to be pretty quick so we don't keep a lot of people
on. I think tonight's pretty brief, but the one thing that you had kind of breadcrumbed last time was the giveaway, some of that stuff. Since we're still talking about marketing, any update on that? And when I say giveaway, like the unboxing tech.
Oh, we're giving away a lot of stuff. So, well, first of all, everybody knows the as far as Saitama goes, the trillion that we're giving away, that's I think worth somewhere north of 15 grand. I think we started this thing, it was more, but it might be 16 or $7,000. But I hear they have some new tech coming out or something. So, that's not nothing. So it's it's good to win. And also we've got a second prize and a third for the second and third place holders. I think we're giving away a chance to win later that night with another NFT for the Miami trip for the conference, and we're going to give away, what was the other one, 100 billion Saitama for the third place or something. Yeah, something like that. So 1, 2, 3, win, place, or show, I guess, or whatever. We can, we have our horse references in the branding for that. But anyway, so there's ways to win that, and then also that night later on after the AMA, we'll do the drawing for who wins Miami as well. So we'll wrap everything up on Friday. And the reason for that is, and a lot of people have asked if we could extend things and so forth, but there's a lot of different reasons. One, people who win the Miami trip have to make arrangements, to be able to leave and head down there. Of course, we're handling the flights and we're handling, the hotel and, and so forth. And the it's the winner and a guest, so it's $4,000 worth of tickets, for the event and the yacht party and everything else. So, the bulk of the expenses for the trip are handled. But it's hard. People have to plan. We can't do it the night before. That's so we got to wrap it up. And then with Satama as well. We kind of that was our first sort of giveaway that we contest that we tried our hand at there, and we learned a lot on it, and we're going to change a lot up the next bunch that we do, and probably increase the prize purse and so forth. And we've in the meantime bought some tech that's going to help along those lines, like the NFT box, so the mystery box tech that you'll be able to go in and buy a $500 or $250 or a $100 box, and inside of that could be either a $500 NFT, which you always get the value of what you spent, but it could also be $1 million worth of something. That's kind of the idea. So that's going to be a really cool program that we roll out to bring in new members and get people excited about the club and some of the stuff we're doing. It's a way to win some obviously native tokens and so forth as well. So we'll be rolling that out. We've got a raffle type of a technology as well, which is a little more complex than just a normal raffle. So you'll see that come out in the next few days as well. And all of it you'll be able to spend AWRT to buy. So that's a pretty cool little function. But the point is, we want to wrap all this stuff up by Friday because we have a lot of new stuff happening. One is a pretty big marketing push for Scrap. So I think we've decided that now is the right time for Scrap to really be pushed. One, because it helps people, and it's important, and two, because we want to just increase our holdings moving forward, in precious metal anyway. So as a club and as a from a fund perspective as well. So we are fast tracking that token, through the levels here, and I don't think that we'll be offering discounts on that token past Friday, just because we're going to start to market that pretty heavily outside of the club. And I think it's a pretty good anchor from talking internally and to some of our larger members and so forth. I mean, I think it's a pretty much everyone agrees that it's a good bridge from the old world finance to to crypto, and it is really unique. So I think it has mass appeal, especially in inflationary times. So that's a story that's going to be told, and we're going to market that pretty extensively as a way to drive people back to the club as well, and of course to our other native tokens and so forth. But so we can't extend it, mainly because then we've got HQ Express and we've got Velocity coming. We've got more cars coming in and different things happening there, and of course the building rehab and stuff is continuing. So it's time for those tokens to come out, and we've got to move things to their next level from an incubation standpoint. So all that's coming shortly. We'll probably, after we get done with the these contests on Friday, we'll come out with the schedule for those rewards, and we'll let everybody know when they're hitting.
Yeah. All right. So what else do we have? You put out the picture or the whatever it was, the video on the new sound studio. You want to get into a little bit on HQ Express?
Yeah, well, sure. I mean, I think we've talked a bit about HQ Express. I think maybe we just teased it, but that's just the equipment. We have that in a temporary spot inside the building, but the concept there is this is a 250,000 square foot facility in a basically an old warehouse. And the reason why it's interesting is because these types of old warehouses exist all over Pennsylvania, all over in the Northeast, all the way into Jersey and New York and so forth. And they kind of were made in particular, this one, and some of them are a little different, but they all have kind of the same story. They grew out of utility, and so for the example, this one was a knitting mill, and so as they needed an extra room, they would add on, and they would, it kind of grew into the deal as they needed it. They just tack on extra rooms. It wasn't really incredibly well thought out, so it's not like the type of a warehouse where you can go and you can say, oh, okay, well here's here's a 25-foot ceiling, and I can just do a rack system, and it's all there's wood floors, beautiful wood floors, and things like that through it, but lots of nooks and crannies and turns and so forth. So it's about utilizing the space in the highest and best use. And so this particular building has it's industrial zoned, but it also has commercial frontage on heavily trafficked road, a main thoroughfare, down through that connects towns. Like, for example, if you're familiar with Pennsylvania, it connects basically like Harrisburg and Philly, so, the state capital all the way to to the biggest city. So it's a pretty important road, and was through the development of PA. And then it has really close jumps up to I-78, which, runs across, of course, across the, across the state, and quickly up into New York and so forth. So, for example, Cabela's is up there, and there's some pretty big builds, up in those areas for large warehousing. So it suits for flex space. So, essentially we have industrial flex, but we also have warehousing flex. And then the cool thing about this building is there's also residential on the facility, and there's huge, lots and so forth that, that can be used for overnight rigs and, things of that nature. So, so the flex is being built out from a, not just from the cubic square foot perspective, which is where the cubes are coming from, that will be represented in the HQ tokens. But essentially, that space in that building is going to be geolocated with the metaverse and, the overland build and everything else. So it's going to be a pretty cool build out. And by getting into highest and best use, we're, portions of the building are perfect, for example, for welding, because there was a welding room. So it's flex welding for people who might have projects to do, but don't necessarily want to expand their shop. Flex wood shop, so we have some specific areas. There's a gym, which is a high-tech gym. And then there's offices where, the sound is very good because it's basically subterranean. So it makes it perfect for music studios, recording studios, and podcast studios and so forth. So as this thing builds out, that flex space that people can rent without lease is very important, because somebody might have a big job. They might need an extra, 5,000 square feet. But they might not want to enter into a 3-year lease or some constraining, type of financial arrangement. The cool thing that it does for us is, on top of that, as you can imagine, that build out being very similar to like the way we work, provides space in the Class A office space, for example, for flex. This is really a combination of commercial and an industrial space, which no one else has. So there aren't a lot of people who are zoned to be able to go and do a large welding project, or be able to go and do, light manufacturing, for example. We've got a door manufacturing facility, that's going to be in the back, for some extra space they need. And then at the same time, we've got, something that's very unique to us, because, the club is venture cap at its core, and so each one of these flex tenants that we get to see through HQ Express feeds the rest of what we're doing in the club. Like, for example, one of the coolest spaces that we just rehabbed with all brick walls and so forth, and the new windows coming in, a lot of glass, is for robots. So for automation in industry, with connectivity to to the internet and so forth. So some pretty cool builds there. But what we're able to do is also provide financing, for example, when they want to scale. So this is a tenant who has said, well, small credit unions and banks don't really understand that when I want to go out and put a $500,000 piece of equipment in a bottling company, for example, that it's not my credit that I'm asking for the loan for, it's the tenants or the clients. It's the bottling company. So there's a disconnect between traditional banking and the needs of some of these clients or some of these tenants in our HQ Express location. So we're able to incubate them not just by saying, okay, well, as you grow, we can give you some of this space at a discount, and by the way, we can put together the financial packages that are necessary to be able to bridge your clients into the space or into the buy. But also, of course, a lot of people are in a position where they're like, well, if I only had extra inventory, or if I could finance these receivables without some type of onerous factoring, now these guys are right under our roof, and we're able to talk to them about, how to grow the business and whether or not they're, a fit. So we're very selective on who we're going to have in there for a reason, because we're actually looking at these guys, as potential partners and, potential future, clients from a VC standpoint as well. So anyway, it all fits. So like we always said, there's a reason for the madness. It's not just arbitrary. And the partners that we have on the real estate side, obviously, go way back. And this is a business that can scale once we prove out the model. At this location, it can scale all over the country and all over the world. Just like WeWork, kind of did their business, but that's loosely the model. This is way more dynamic and capable of so much more because of the fact that it's flex industrial and commercial, not just Class A office space, which is, as everybody knows, dead. So, it's an exciting project, and that's going to be one of the next rewards. So,
all right. So any other updates that you want to get into tonight? Like I said, tonight was going to be a relatively shorter one. Let me take a look to see if there's any questions coming through. No. Okay. So, so do you have an update on the leaderboard?
That'll be coming out. Right now, it's roughly the same as it was. I think it might have changed by, 10 grand or something, and I think that it's all the same three that were in the lead before. But there are rumblings of people closing on other packages and so forth that would like to win. So it's anybody's game up till Friday, but we're done on Friday. So one of the main things I want to get across is people should, want to have the scrap token in their portfolio for certain, and buying it at a discount is just a gift. So, I think take advantage between now and Friday for sure, because it's going to be the last time that we're going to do that, because we just don't have to. And as we're looking at let me put it to you this way. We're looking at the spendability of AWRT and the gaming side of things, and being able to buy the chance boxes and things like that, kind of the fun metaverse in-game type of utility. The scrap token and spendability across all tokens and across all assets that we're involved with, including investment and future investment, is ubiquitous, right? It's like, there's no, right. I mean, you agree, Bill? I mean, I don't think there's any limitation to what you can do with scrap as we move forward and as we build it into the ecosystem.
And part of the reason that you're not going to see it at discount or these other things is because it's actually backed, right? I mean, they're very few opportunities in life to be able to buy physical commodities at a discount. I mean, typically because you don't have to. The market's the market. You can sell it at market price almost.
Well, and I want to be clear about that too, because it's not backed, right? And that's one of the cool parts about this. Yeah. So one of the cool parts about this, I think, that was you're explaining it to other people, is that we're not calling it a stable coin, right? It's not the traditional, pegged, backed value. What it is it is able to buy the gold, silver, and palladium dollar for dollar at spot, relative to the face value of scrap token, right? So, regardless, it for all intents and purposes it is, but it's not like everything else where you would say, oh, this is a gold backed token and that's all I can get. Instead, you can spend this token and get silver if you would prefer to have that delivered to you physically. Or you can say, I'll take the palladium. So it's a pretty cool, versatile play. It's a little different than being backed. It's I think it has a whole lot more utility than just that. And the reason we're able to do it and no one else is because we're actually refining the product. So every time you buy that scrap token and spend dollars on the scrap token, you're actually physically recycling material. That's one of the reasons why the discount is not going to last, because the margins inside of that space have to do with whether or not we're recycling whole material, full equipment, or whether or not we are acting in the middle and aggregating from other recyclers. So it's a trading function for us, and one has higher margins, but the other, we can grow a lot bigger, a lot faster, but we just can't give the same type of discount. So, Bo, if that's it,
that's all the questions that we have. So I think, let's be good, be brief, and be gone.
All right, sounds good. Awesome. So we'll talk on Friday. We'll have a whole lot more updates then.
All right, perfect.
All right, see you guys.
All information presented on this AMA, technical or otherwise, is subject to change with or without notice at any time. The information is meant to outline general plans and answer questions being asked in real time. As such, the information should not be relied on as the basis for token purchases.